justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
Sure. Mike Kincaid.
Present.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Morris Jones.
Here.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
John Copeland.
Here.
Brent Weed is absent this evening. And Sierra Messenger.
Present.
Thanks.
All right. Have you, council, had a chance to look at the minutes?
So we're going to approve the minutes for May the 8th, and then we'll also approve the minutes for the special meeting on May 17th. I think there were 4 of you there, or 5.
I'll make a motion that we pass the minutes from May 8th.
May 17th. You want to move 17th?
Want to do them both?
Separate, just because
Separate?
one
I'll
special.
second. I'll second May 8th.
Got it?
Okay, we have first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, for those that were here in the May 17th meeting, do you have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move a motion for that.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. Now we have the fun parts to begin with. We're going to swear in some new firefighters.
Good evening, Council, Madam Treasurer. Tonight, we're going to swear in 6 firefighters.
6.
And the first firefighter we have this evening is Katie Pelican. Yep, that'll work.
Okay, put your right hand on, you want somebody to hold that for you?
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. I state your name,
I, Katie Polican,
solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances of the City of Lebanon,
and all laws and ordinances of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Our next candidate is Tyler Rigdon.
I state your name,
I, Tyler Rigdon,
solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all the laws and ordinances
and all the laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon,
of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department to the best of my ability. As a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Next, we have Spencer Gully.
Hello? Okay, you want to put your hand on the Bible and raise your hand? I state your name,
I, Spencer Gully,
solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon,
of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
All right, congratulations.
Next, we have Josh Messersmith.
I state your name,
I, Joshua Messersmith,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all the laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon,
of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
All right.
Next, we have Kurt Keller.
All right, put your hand on the Bible, raise your hand. I state your name,
I, Kurt Keller,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon,
of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Right on.
Last but not least, we have Daniel Taylor.
Raise your hand. I state your name,
I, Daniel Taylor,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and all the laws and ordinances
and all the laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon,
of the City of Lebanon,
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as
as
a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
member of the Lebanon Fire Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Council President Kincaid and the council members. The recruits are in their 8th week of training at the Northside Fire Academy. They've completed EMT and hazmat, and they started fire school this week. And we are a rowdy bunch. Do you mind if we adjourn and take our group? We're actually going to go outside to this side of the building, the east side, and we'll take pictures. And then we'll adjourn.
Yes, we'll take a short 2-minute recess. All right, we're back. Okay, next up is old business. Does the council have any old business they want to bring up? No old business? New business. First up is Resolution 2023-09. Chief Morgan, additional appropriation for Lebanon Police Department.
Good evening, council. If you guys will remember, back in 2022, at our budget meetings, the police department didn't ask for any additional money to purchase cars in 2022 because we couldn't get them. So what I'm asking for tonight is the money to get the cars, to get us caught up with the cars. So we need enough to make up for the ones we didn't get in 2022 and the ones for 2023. So we didn't think we'd be able to get any this year, but Mr. Stoner was able to find 20 vehicles for us. So we need 20 black Tahoes and there were $160,000 for the rest of the year for the payments on those. We were able to find 4 other Tahoes that are civilian, so we were able to use those for our admin since they didn't have to be pursuit rated. For that, for the rest of the year is $44,000. That's the payments on them. Then about 3 Board of Works ago, I believe it was, that was when I originally planned to talk to you guys about this. We surplused the big CSI van that we had. It was 2018, I believe, 2018, 2019. And it only had like 1,800 miles on it. So we surplused it and got rid of it because it wasn't being used. So we ended up getting 2 of the, I think they're carrier vans, what they're called, delivery vans for our CSIs. So we can take them out of pursuit-rated vehicles and use those on the road, and we can put them in a civilian carrier van, but that's $14,000 for payments for the rest of the year on those. So the total payments for the new vehicles would be $218,000. Then to outfit all of these vehicles would be $370,000. So the total for the new vehicles would be $588,000. Now, our current lease vehicles that we're going to keep would be $200,000. So that gives us a total of $788,000 minus what we currently have in our budget, which is $183,000. Now, what I'm giving you in numbers-wise is the absolute worst-case scenario. I'm hoping it doesn't come anywhere near that, but coming up with these numbers is like shooting in the dark at a moving target, because as we trade in vehicles, we get money back, but say we trade in one of the Explorers and we get $5,000, they don't just give us $5,000, they knock off on our payments. So it may come out to be $50 a month off our payment per vehicle for the term of the next vehicle. So I won't even know how much any of this is actually going to cost until we trade in the 18 vehicles we're going to trade in. So this is worst-case scenario, and I did that because I don't know how long it'll take them at auction to get rid of these vehicles. So this is worst case, and what doesn't get spent stays in the lit to be used for whatever else. So my total ask is for $605,000, and like I said, that's worst case, and I hope we don't need near that much.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
What was the total amount of cars you're looking at, or vehicles?
It would be 20 Tahoes, and then we already have the white 4 that are for the admin. So it's just compensating for the difference in the lease on those.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the resolution, please?
Resolution 2023-09, whereas the City of Lebanon is duly formed municipal corporation within the state of Indiana, it's the duty and responsibility of the council to maintain fiscal integrity of the finances. At times, it becomes necessary to appropriate additional funds within the approved budget as contemplated under IC Code 36479. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. This requires a public hearing, which the City Council has served proper notice. Now therefore be it resolved and adopted the City Council as follows. Resolution 2023-09 is to appropriate funds from the lit police vehicle line for $605,000.
All right, I'll open the public hearing at this point. Seeing no movement. Council, do you have any questions, any comments? All right. I will close the public hearing right now. Thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2023-09 for the additional appropriation for the city police department.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is ordinance 2023-06, food and beverage amendment for the city of Lebanon, first reading. Council, would you like to read it?
So this is just to explain this a little bit, we have food and beverage ordinance already. We have 2 of them. The State Board of Accounts has been here since the 1st of April, and they requested us to step up our ordinance with just telling about the donations that we're going to make to non-for-profit organizations that we haven't done for a very long time. So we are bringing this up to par. That's why we, excused it last time and had to have you come back this time. So this just explains that. Rob will read the resolution. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, Treasurer, Council. Again, ordinance 2023-06 is an ordinance that amends ordinance 08-06 imposing the food and beverage tax fund within the city of Lebanon. The city has previously established a food and beverage tax under Indiana law, as set forth in ordinance 05-14 as amended by ordinance 08-06. Indiana law, tax revenues that are deposited in a tax fund shall be used at the discretion of the municipality to reduce the city's property tax levy for a particular year at the discretion of the city, or for any legal or corporate purpose of the city, including the pledge of money to bonds, leases, or other obligations under Indiana law. Ordinance 08-06 provided that revenues in the food and beverage tax fund should further be used for the city for specific projects as specified by this council. This council now desires to amend ordinance 08-06 to additionally permit this council to make certain donations or grants to nonprofit organizations within the city of Lebanon, or for certain events that are to be held within the city of Lebanon out of the food and beverage tax fund as approved by this council. Therefore, be it resolved, these recitals are incorporated by reference. In addition to the purposes set forth in ordinance 08-06, food and beverage tax revenues shall be permitted to be donated or granted to certain nonprofit organizations located within the city of Lebanon, or for certain events that are held within the city of Lebanon as approved by this council. All the provisions of ordinance 08-06 not specifically changed shall remain in full force and effect.
Thank you. Does anyone on the council have a question or a comment? Okay.
I got one question. Can we go ahead and suspend the rules and go to, and authorize to approve this was on second reading here tonight?
That's what we would like to do, yes.
I will make the motion to request that we suspend the rules and to go to second reading.
Okay, we have a motion.
Vote on it
Vote on this
first.
First reading.
First reading.
I'll second the motion on first reading.
He was suspending the rules.
I know.
So we have a motion to suspend the rules. Do we have a second on that?
Yes, I do.
He seconded it.
Okay, so we don't
So then
have to
we
have
need-
a first for the resolution?
Oh, we don't have to vote on the first reading. So we have a first and a second to suspend the
Got it.
rules.
I'm with you.
Now, it needs to be unanimous in
Right.
order to go
Right.
forward. So now we need a vote.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Now we go to second reading. Any discussion?
Yeah,
So
so
now-
Rob's not going to read the ordinance
did
again
such a-
due to the fact that he just read it. So, any other questions? So
Need a-
now we need a motion to pass the ordinance.
I'll make a motion, we pass ordinance 2023-06.
Second.
We have a first and a second. More discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. You're welcome. Okay, next up, we have a food and beverage request from the Black Box Theater. And John, do you have your comments?
Well, do we have members here tonight? Would they like to step up and make a presentation this evening? Could you introduce yourself?
Good evening, Council, and hello. My name is Neil Acton, and we are here on behalf of the Black Box Theater Company, located here in Lebanon, Indiana. I was a student in the program. I am now a teacher, instructor, director, whatever the camp or show requires. I have seen the program through my 8th grade year, where we started at 60 kids. We are now to over 200 plus kids, the bulk of that, over 75% being Lebanon kids. Now, personally, I now go to Purdue University, where I'm in the Glee Club at Purdue. We do a lot of ambassador work, and all the skills and talking abilities that I gained from Black Box Theater Company, I'm directly being able to apply to the different ambassador work that I'm doing through Purdue Varsity Glee Club, as well as just being able to go in front of anyone and be able to talk to them in a calm, cool, collected kind of way. And I will now turn it over to them to kind of give you a little bit more.
Hello, Council. Thank you for all you do for our community. We appreciate you. My name is Courtney Daniels. My family moved here from Central Florida about 3 years ago, and we were thrilled to learn that there was a local children's theater, because our daughter is all about the performing arts. So we're grateful to have it in our community. I was asked to serve on the board of directors, and our mission is teaching character to build character, so I can speak firsthand that is happening in our community for children and families. And it's in a big way. In a few weeks, our annual musical will be at Lebanon High School, and I'm going to turn it over to our executive director, Tricia Acton, to speak to that.
Good evening. As she said, I'm Tricia Acton, and I'm the executive director at Black Box. Not this weekend, but next weekend, we will be performing our Wizard of Oz Kids Edition show. It will be a full musical at the Lebanon High School. We have 112 kids in it. 75% of those are our Lebanon kids. We will be having about 2,000 people come into our community from June 1st through June 4th. We will be having 5 shows with about 400 to 450 at every show. They come, they're eating dinner, they're having ice cream, they're doing all these things that help pour into our community. And so our ask tonight is that we would like to ask that the food and beverage tax would help support our concession stand, and then also help feed our kids. Our cast members, they are there most of the time 4 to 5 hours. On Saturday, we've added a show, so they're there for a much longer time period. It just makes it easier on the parents, and so that is our ask tonight. We would have the sponsorship in the playbill. We would put it on our social media. We would also have a sign such as this at our concession stand, letting people know where the money came from. So that is our ask tonight. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Tricia.
Okay, on April 24th of this year, the Food and Beverage Committee members, myself, Brent Wheat, and Sierra Messenger, had a meeting with the organization of Black Box Theater Company, Educational Theater, talking about their spring show. It's going to be The Wizard of Oz. It's a youth edition, and she's already spoke about the dates, June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, with 2 shows on the 3rd. This program this year will be conducted, as she said, at the Lebanon High School. Usual attendance per performance is anywhere from 425 to 475 people. Funding requests to address concessions and/or printing, posters, programs, etc. We requested an acknowledgement for the Lebanon City for the food and beverage for the monies being used. The cast members, as she spoke, about 112 kids, range from kindergarten to the 8th grade. 75% of them are from the Lebanon area. Money raised will go back into Black Box Theater Company to help as they move on down the road. through the meeting, our committee is making a positive recommendation tonight to the Lebanon City Council.
All right, thank you, John. Do you have an amount?
We together, and our recommendation was
$1,500, okay.
That's her motion.
That's my motion.
That's your motion?
Yep.
And I
Okay.
would second that motion.
All right, we got first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. You do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to skip D right now. Chief Batts will be back.
He's back.
Oh, there he is.
Go now, or do you want to wait?
All right, okay, so, that's all right, I didn't see him come in. So, Resolution 2023-11, City Council adopting the 2023 Boone County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Chief Hendricks and I have been working with a group throughout the county to build the multi-hazard mitigation plan. And this serves as a document that recognizes the hazards, vulnerabilities, and risks within the county, how we mitigate those risks, how we handle them, and if need be, how we would procure federal funds for them. And this has been a long process, several months, and finally it's time for the City of Lebanon to adopt this plan. Does anyone have any questions about the plan?
Chief, is this, years ago, I remember the county had an emergency management plan. Is this the same thing or in coordination with it, or is?
This is a different plan from that. It's
Okay.
totally separate.
It's just for hazardous material type stuff?
Not necessarily hazardous material, but just looking at flooding, erosion, probability of tornadoes, even earthquakes.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, Rob, you want to read it, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, Resolution 2023-11, again, is a resolution of this council adopting the 2023 Boone County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. Whereas the council recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within the city, the Boone County Emergency Management Agency has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as the 2023 Boone County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, or defined as the plan, in accordance with federal laws including Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. Whereas the plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in the city from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. Whereas the adoption by this council demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the plan. Therefore, be it resolved, the foregoing recitals are fully incorporated herein by reference. This council, after consideration, has reviewed the plan and information presented, as well as what's been given to the council, and hereby adopts the 2023 Boone County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. While content related to the plan may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require the council to re-adopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan updates following the approval period for this plan will require separate adoption resolutions. This resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions from the council?
I got one comment, I think, that the chief can clarify, but I think in March, he sent out that document to all of us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've got that in your email somewhere. I conversed with the chief later today about this, and I went back to my emails and I found it. It's like a 150-page document and so forth, so you may check your emails, you may have it, and might have stored it somewhere, so you've got a copy of it. So.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, I will entertain a motion for the resolution.
I move that we adopt Resolution
2023-11.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? It passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next up, ordinance 2023-05, council to consider planned unit development rezone and ordinance for the proposed Spring Creek development. This is the first reading. Mr. Bontrager?
Thank you, Mr. Kincaid. Members of council, we'll walk through this planned unit development rezone for you here. If I pull up just a couple of quick slides here. I'm going to be relatively brief here and then turn it over to the applicant to give you more details about what they're proposing. So just as a reminder, planned unit development rezone is a process that is really good when you're proposing development that has multiple use types that don't fit real neatly into just one of our zoning classifications. And that's exactly what we have here before you tonight is a mixed-use development that will include both a variety of residential uses and also a small commercial node as well. And so since we don't really have one zoning classification that accommodates all of those various uses, it makes the most sense. And what we've done here is essentially write a planned unit development ordinance that accommodates all the uses that are being proposed, write standards for all those uses related to setbacks, architecture, landscaping, et cetera, and then adopt that planned unit development rezone for the property, and then they would move forward with some of the more detailed information. You'll see here, this is really large-scale bubble diagrams. They'll come back with road layouts, lot layouts, details on the commercial development over time as those plans get developed. So this will just be establish the zoning of planned unit development on the property, adopt the ordinance that establishes the standards, and then we'll move forward in later phases with additional detail. So just to give you a little brief overview here, this is the property in question. It's about 140 acres at the northwest corner of State Road 39, which you see labeled here on the east side, and County Road 300 North, which is in the south side, and then it's bordered on the west by the CSX Railroad. So this is the property, again, as I mentioned, about 140 acres you see right here. And as we were working through this project with the applicant and talking about what uses might be most appropriate, you have to kind of think about the area, and I'll show you here on this next map what's happening in this area of the community. This is actually a map that was used when we were talking about transportation projects related to Eli Lilly, but it's also applicable here as we look at the property highlighted in yellow and the things that are going to be happening around it. Eli Lilly, as you see, is just northwest of this site. The new interchange, while this isn't the exact location, the new interchange would be west, and then we'll provide a much more significant transportation route on County Road 300 North that goes right past the intersection with this site. So as we were talking about this site with them, recognizing that this area is going to be changing, there's going to be additional activity in this area, that certainly transportation numbers are going to increase as this area develops out, and recognizing that a variety of residential types would be most appropriate here, and given the increased activity at this intersection, 300 North and 39, there might be an opportunity for a small commercial node at that corner as the roads are improved and the intersection is significantly improved as well. So that's really, as they move forward with the proposal for this area, using this kind of as the background, that's how they approach developing this site. And as I mentioned, the significantly increasing, as you know, County Road 300 North is really just a two-lane county road, and here's the proposal by the IEDC would include a divided four-lane road. So again, you can see that can handle a significantly larger amount of traffic than what the road does now, and that's what we expect over time. So with that comes the background. They came to us with the planned unit development proposal, and I will just quickly show you this and then turn it over to the applicant to get in a little bit more detail. Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. This is essentially the land use map, the overall concept plan for the area. You can see it's divided into area A, B, C, and D, and those are dividing it up into the various uses that are being proposed. Again, County Road 300 North is to the south, and this State Road 39 to the east. Area A would be what you would all expect it would see as a traditional single-family detached product, and within that area. Area B is a duplex product, and then Area C is a townhome product. So you can see kind of going from north to south, the products become more dense as you get closer to County Road 300 North, which would be the main artery that would serve this site. Area D would then be the commercial node that you see here at the southeast corner at the intersection. Their access will be off of 300 North, and then the commercial area will also have some access off of State Road 39. They do not have any additional areas where they're adjacent to roads as you go north here because of the regulated drain that's adjacent to the property here on the east. So that's a real quick rundown of the overall project. Again, we have standards associated with each one of these areas that identify how many units are permitted, architectural standards, landscape standards. And then as these areas develop out, they will come back in with primary plats associated with each one of these areas with more specific road layouts. This is obviously just a general concept in terms of road layouts. They'll come back in with more specific details on road layouts and lot layouts, more details on the amenity areas and open space and buffer yards, et cetera. And then the commercial area will be the same. We'll see a primary plat related to the commercial area, and then as each one of the specific lots is developed within the commercial area, it'll come in for development plan approval with the planning commission. So a lot of steps and a lot more detail that will come over time once the property is rezoned, and with the adoption of the rezone, that'll give the developer the opportunity to move forward and spend more money to further design these properties with the expectation in place that the zoning was approved. So that's a quick overview of the site for you, and I'd be happy to turn over to the applicant now, and they're going to show you a little bit more detail on each one of those areas and what they're proposing.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Members of council, my name's Adam Mears. I'm with Gradison Land Development. Here with me tonight is Mark Gradison and then Chris Miller of Beezer Homes. So we're happy to be here. We were here last week in front of Plan Commission. Had a favorable recommendation there, and happy to be here now on this first reading to present this plan to all of you. We are calling this subdivision Spring Creek. Again, Ben, as always, does a great job of giving you an overview of what we're looking at, and I'll drill down some more, and then we'll be here to answer whatever questions that you folks may have. A little bit about Gradison and us as a developer. We're a local firm out of Indianapolis, been in the development business for more than 30 years. Our company's owned by Mark and his brother Joe, and our team is a long-seasoned group of real estate individuals with backgrounds ranging from engineering to law, to real estate, zoning law, which is my background. And it's important that we point out that we're local because, again, with the name of our company being Gradison Land Development, and Mark and Joe being in the community and us doing developments, this would be our third development in the Lebanon area. They've got their names on it, and they're around. So we take a lot of pride in the work that we do in our developments to make sure that it's living up to the name that they've spent 30 years building in this business. This is just a different view, kind of showing the location. It's up here in red, but kind of showing here's the high school over here, and again, this is where Lily's going to be, and the new interchange right here on 300, which is exciting on what's happening in Lebanon. I know the city council and the mayor and planning staff, engineering, have all been really hustling over the last many years, I think, to be where we are today and where Lebanon is today, and we're incredibly excited to be a part of the growth and what's happening in Lebanon. Current zoning, we're in the process of finishing up the annexation of this property, and then, of course, we're proposing to have this PUD. As Ben said, the PUD allows us flexibility to provide various home styles, various lot sizes, various different products that generally wouldn't fit into just a straight rezone of one particular single family. It also allows us to have more land dedicated to open space when generally most zoning ordinances have a lower percentage if it were just a straight zoning. I don't know, I think we talked about it at the last meeting, somewhere 12 to 15%, and generally we're more over 25% when we utilize a PUD, and again allows for us to do better planning with more activity areas and community connection. Talk a little bit about the goals of this development. Again, understanding the new environment of what 300's going to be and what's going on in Lilly. And of course, the LEAP district, there's going to be a need for more housing in that area, but not just one particular kind of housing. And we think creating this mixed-use planned community with variety of home styles that are going to meet different types of homeowners' needs, along with a mix of some commercial, we think is going to bring a lot of value and needs to that area once all that construction begins. Lot details meeting consumer demand. Again, we'll have a variety of different lot sizes and variety of different products. I'll get into those in a minute. Having internal trails and amenities to bring people together. is a big part of this development for us. The commercial development that's going to serve the community with a variety of products and services. There are utilities that aren't in the area, water, sewer, and we're going to help bring those to the area. That's one thing that development really does spur is bringing those utilities to underserved areas. And we have already been working with both staff, the city, and NDOT on traffic impact analysis, and we've been up to date with clearly what's going on 300 and the interchange. I'm going to continue to work with the city and the engineering staff and planning and NDOT as those talks continue and that development gets closer. Ben already went through this large bubble area. Again, the less dense to the north as you further come south towards 300, just gets slightly more dense with the duets, which are attached product. I'll show you an image here in a minute, and then townhomes. Our view for the commercial area would be generally one large big box tenant and then a couple outlots. The ordinance allows for a fueling station. We would anticipate being there as well. And again, as 300 gets expanded and that becomes a major interchange, that'll be a major need in that area, we think, and it'll be a great fit. One thing I do want to point out is a development with what we're proposing, 400 some rooftops and commercial. This doesn't all happen overnight. We would anticipate this going from anywhere from 5 to 7 years by the time this entire project gets built out. There's been talk about trying to get, assuming we're successful in this rezone, trying to get some model lots on the ground before the end of the year. But again, by the time this entire project gets built out, and that's the same with the commercial, it'll be sometime down the road again, 5 to 7 years, clearly well after the expected completion of the 300 interchange, and kind of letting this grow as the infrastructure is growing around it. As Ben said, initially the traditional single family, which was the north pod, is about 170 units maximum, and we are not fully engineered yet, but this is as close as we've gotten to what we believe would be the maximum number of units of the traditional single family. The duets, again, those are attached products, and then 100 townhomes. And we project the assessed value generally, and I think it's probably conservative, about nearly $150 million, and that's just for the residential. Expect another $10 to $12 million of commercial once you add that product in. So clearly a substantial assessed value for the area, and we think, again, a great use of that land. Give you some highlights of the architectural standards. Again, a mix of elevations in each pod with anti-monotony provisions, so you're not looking at the same home right down the line. We've got, there are plenty of elevations in order to make sure that we're not seeing the same homes next to each other and across the street. Each home must have a minimum first floor masonry on the front facade, wainscot up to the lowest first floor window, but in addition, needs to include a minimum 2 siding styles and 1 additional architectural feature. And these are all things, when we originally delivered our proposed PUD ordinance, that's not something we just give to Ben and Ben goes, oh, okay, great. But, Ben drives a hard bargain and push back on a lot of things, and these standards are born out of really him coming back and saying, here's what I think we can accept, and we really were able to work with him with all of these features. The dimensional roofs with a minimum 612 pitch. All front-facing garages are going to have windows. The homes do not depict the windows that you're going to look at. Assured, the ordinance does say they are going to have windows. We just haven't had time to get renderings to show the windows on the garage, but that was important, and that's something we're willing to commit to. Talking about the windows on corner lots, and again, those things we're going for more than what's generally in the ordinance. And then the dusk to dawn coach light out front. Here's a representative image of, again, this is that northern pod that shows the wainscot up to that first floor windows. Picture a couple windows on the garage, and that would be a representation of the traditional single-family product. The duets, again, these are attached villas, if you will, a shared middle wall, These are also going to be low maintenance, meaning that the homeowners association will be taking care of all the outside grounds, mowing the yards for the homeowners, handling the shrub trimming, mulching, fertilization, snow shoveling of the driveways and walkways in the winter, again, to give that low maintenance buyer what they're looking for. And then finally, a representation of the townhomes. Again, we haven't gotten that far down the road to work on how many buildings or how many units per building we're going to have. And those are all things that we'll come back with once we do start working on our primary plat and get through more engineering and TAC, come back through Plan Commission on these additional drawings as we drill down to further details. Just a representation of entry signage. We recognize how important it's going to be to have not only a nice looking entry sign for our neighborhood, but understanding what 300 is really going to turn into, and wanting to make sure that it's a great representation for the city of Lebanon as well. So we want the city to have pride, take pride in our entry. We clearly want to take pride in it, and we want it to be something that our homeowners do as well. And we'll spend a lot of time working on a design. Clearly, we have to get a sign permit, but we'll work with the city staff to make sure it's something that looks good, that represents not only our development, but also something that makes the city of Lebanon proud. Amenities, again, we're still working through these things. Things that we've been internally discussing: a dog park, pickleball court, which is kind of all the rage these days. In the upper left corner of this image, it's not, we don't vision it on the scale of what you see maybe in downtown Carmel, where where you have the Sun King down there and it's an open area. There's not going to be restaurants or anything inside of here, but something open like this that'll bring people together, let their kids run around together. And all of these amenities for us, the purpose is to bring people together in a community that is going to be new. You're going to have people that have the ability with these different products. Somebody that is just starting out, maybe they want a townhome and they love the area so much. Hey, let's go to the single family area. And then 20 years down the road, they say, yeah, okay, now I'm ready to go get into something maybe low maintenance. This provides for people to stay in an area but change the product that they're in that meets their lifestyle. And I think it makes us proud to be able to put a design like this together, because we know that it will meet the needs of all the variety of buyers that'll be coming to this area as Lebanon continues to grow with its vision, and we're very excited to be a part of it. So myself, I'm here to answer any questions. Mark is here as well, and Chris, and as normally happens, Ben will come up and answer things when he's going to do it better than me. So appreciate your time, and again, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, council?
I got some questions and comments.
Sure.
Section A, I think it's A.
The single family, traditional?
Single family. Lebanon seems to have a lot of subdivisions, new ones today, that houses to me seem to be right on top of each other. And I see where the side setbacks are like 5 feet. I'd actually like to see them a little bigger than that, but maybe not. But anyway, I hear all the issues. There's people that say the people don't want yards to mow, and that's it. Well, I drive around a lot of different places in a lot of different communities. I see a lot of different homes being built, and I see a lot of space between each home, and I see people are buying these homes, okay? People are going to buy the home they want and they can afford. That's all there is to it. My second thing, so I just consider the idea of raising that setback.
Sure, fair enough.
I got this from campaigning here this last spring, going door to door in one of our newer subdivisions, okay? And I noticed that a lot of the new homes, I would encourage a lot more space, I won't say patio, but I'll say front porch area, on the front of the homes. And the reason I say that is so not everybody can sit out in the back of the home because the sun's out there. So they may go to the front. And you got some people that like to sit on the front side and watch the neighbors and say hi to the neighbors walking up and down the sidewalk. To me, makes it a more friendly situation that if you got more space on the front end for, just widen that sidewalk, not sidewalk, but porch area, because most of them are like 4 feet and you could only get a chair there and barely walk around. Make it a fairly decent length that a person could sit out there, 2 people, and enjoy a cup of coffee and watch the kids play out in the front yard or something, just things like that. I think would make it a little more attractive, make it a little more friendly.
Sure.
Because that's what you're trying to do today, is make these residents make these subdivisions a little more friendly so people can walk and visit with the neighbors and so forth, and walk on the trails and walk their way to the park area that you may have and so forth. That's what you're looking for, things like that. And just a couple things like that, I think would be something you ought to consider. I like the pictures of the homes that you got so far. I like those ideas, those concepts, those keep that style going. You can only go up from there, you can't go down. You showed me a good one, show me the next to it. Don't show me an ugly one. I've been through some ugly subdivisions.
Sure.
I've been through some that people thought these are great subdivisions. These are a lot of expensive homes, and then honestly, they're the most god-awful looking thing I've ever seen in my life. So I don't want any god-awful looking things. I want you guys got some really nice concepts here. Keep the concept going. Don't lower the standard.
Yeah,
don't lower the standard.
We will not lower the standard, I can assure you. And part of the PUD ordinance is, these are representative photos of the products. So we don't have the ability to come in and do a bait and switch on you on that. We're going to have to stick within the architectural standards that are party, but I hear everything you're saying, and we'll certainly take that to heart and have a chat about it with our team for sure.
And Lebanon around here is unfortunately flat. We don't have a lot of rolling hills.
Sure.
You're lucky enough, you got a little rolling neighborhood.
A little bit, correct.
It's not much, but it is rolling, and kind of rolls back up towards the railroad back there. Create the space that you can need to make the rolling places look good, and so forth, and put a really nice sign out there on 300 that identifies the place. One there, one on 375, because I think you go all the way to 375, don't you?
No, we don't.
Okay, well.
No, we may.
You may someday.
We're working on it.
You may someday.
Yeah.
So if you do, you may have to have one out there as well, but just create that really neat look. Don't look like anything else someone else has already done here in town.
Yep.
Absolutely, totally different.
That's our goal, and appreciate your comments, and again, we'll take those to the team and report back. Appreciate it very much.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to say? Nope.
I hear him creeping behind me. Here he comes. It's always going to be good.
I couldn't stay seated the whole time. Maybe to go back to your comment, Dick, about the lot sizes and the setbacks, and one thing when we're looking at these with the developers is there's often a trade-off between the lot sizes versus like the common amenity space. And so the trade-off is do we want to make the houses further apart and make the lot sizes bigger? And the trade-off is then we might have less public amenity space, like common space. So the trade-off there is if the lot size is where they are, which is most buyers do want less yard, like you said, but by doing so, we also get more common area and amenity spaces because they can aggregate the available space into those common space areas. So that's one thing we're looking at. And of course, as you know, they also have to make sure that the development pencils, right? So they're looking at how many lots they need to make the development pencil.
Correct.
And at the same time, also making sure we've got great amenity spaces and common areas as well, so.
But, I look at that as that, okay, well, I eliminate one lot, and I know that means the price of the home will go up, and a lot will go up. I understand that. But it's just the whole idea of space them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just you know, we've got some subdivisions there. I'm telling you, you could go like that almost. You know, if you were 6 foot, I guarantee you.
Unless your arms are 10 foot long, we don't have any that are close to that. So any of the new ones it's all a 10 foot setback.
I got to stretch my tape to get 10 foot. I guarantee you.
But keep in mind though, I mean, if you go from like a 10-foot separation between homes to a 15 or 20-foot separation, you're not losing one lot, you're probably losing 30, 40, 50 lots. So it is a big change to significantly change the setbacks, so.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Any other questions for me?
Doesn't look like it right now. Hey, Rob, you want to read it, please? Yep.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, this is ordinance 2023-05, which amends ordinance 07-16, the Unified Development Ordinance of the City of Lebanon. Whereas this council has adopted ordinance 07-16 as the City of Lebanon Unified Development Ordinance, and this is hereafter referred to as the Unified Development Ordinance, pursuant to Indiana law. The City Advisory Planning Commission considered petition docket number 23-26 filed with the commission requesting an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance and to the zoning map with regard to the real estate described in Exhibit A, and that's defined as the real estate. The commission forwarded docket 23-26 after a public hearing held on May 15, 2023 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 7-0 in accordance with Indiana law. The Secretary of the Commission certified the action of the Commission to this council on May 16, 2023. Therefore, be it ordained that this council hereby amends the Unified Development Ordinance and zoning map as follows. Now this, as we've talked about before in other meetings, is several pages, so I'm just going to hit the highlights. You've been given a copy of it, and Ben and the petitioner went through a little bit of it. And so Section 1 talks about the applicability of the ordinance, the zoning map, and the development. Section 2 defines the capitalized terms that are set forth in this ordinance, including the areas A, B, C, and D that have been discussed. Section 3 discusses the concept plan. Section 4 is the underlying zoning districts. Again, include the SF1, SF3, multifamily, and the planned business commercial. Section 5 discusses the permitted uses. Section 6 discusses the general regulations, and there's several pages that go through that. Section 7 addresses the development standards, again, the architectural standards, as well as the imagery, landscaping, and again, that's a number of pages as well. Section 8 is the subdivision of the land. And then Section 9 just addresses that this ordinance shall remain in full force and effect after its passage and any requirements by Indiana law.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Any comments from the council? This is a first reading. Any public comments? All right. Guess that's all we have to do right now. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right. And lastly, we have Resolution 2023-10, City of Lebanon improving electronic payments.
So again, with the State Board of Accounts being here, they have recognized that we do not have an ordinance that authorizes us to make electronic fund transfers. So therefore, this ordinance will complete their request.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk Treasurer and Mr. President Council. This is Resolution 2023-10 that authorizes officially electronic fund transfers. Pursuant to Indiana Code, this fiscal body is authorized to conduct certain business with its financial institution through the use of electronic funds. In cooperation with the City of Lebanon Clerk Treasurer, this council has concluded that the city's business with its banks can be efficiently and securely conducted electronically. Therefore, be it resolved, this council finds the foregoing recitals are fully incorporated hereby reference. The Lebanon Clerk Treasurer, in her discretion, is hereby authorized to make automatic clearinghouse ACH payments electronically for and on behalf of the city, as well as receive these payments directed to the city or its various departments. The Lebanon Clerk Treasurer, in their discretion, is authorized to make online transfers of city funds to the extent those funds may otherwise be transferred under and pursuant to all applicable rules and regulations. All online transfers of the city funds properly made by or at the discretion of the city's clerk treasurer prior to the adoption of this resolution are hereby ratified and approved, and this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions or comments from the council?
I have a comment. This is a bookkeeping matter, but when you make an electronic transfer, do you have to note it?
Yeah, you might say something about that. Go on, check this about, should that be there?
Have the invoice, and then we have the chase, and we match them all up.
Okay.
We do what we do, just like everything. Apparently, after 12 years, we need this.
All right.
Say something.
All right, the state wants and the state gets.
What you want.
That's right.
I have a question too. The only thing is that I'm reading here in section 2
And 3.
and 3, it says the Lebanon Clerk Treasurer in her discretion. I don't argue that, but could very well possibly be a male in there, and should it say there instead of her or him? We'd have to change, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we'd have to change that if you ever changed. That's all I'm saying.
Fine.
Yeah, I think if you want to amend it, say his or her, I think we can, if the council wishes, we could make that change as noted.
Yeah.
All right?
Is that
Yeah,
you want
I'll
to
make an amendment.
amendment? Okay. And just so we're clear for the record, that is in section 2 and in section 3.
Yes.
So it'll say the Lebanon Clerk Treasurer in his or her discretion, and that'll be the same in both of those.
Hey, that's fine.
That's it.
That'll work.
Do we have a second on that amendment? Okay. All in, well, okay.
So we have a first and a second on the resolution
Yes,
with
sir.
the amendment.
Yes, sir.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Carried away.
That's all right, that's all right. All right, well, that finishes what we have. Do you guys have anything you want to?
Don't we have to approve this
So we have to
resolution?
approve the resolution. That was just for the amendment.
For the amendment.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I'll make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-10, including the amendments.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. All right, thank you. All right, does anybody else have anything they want to bring up before we go to claims? All right, do we have a motion to pay the claims?
I'll make a motion that we approve the claims based on, subject to the changes that may have to be made after Tanya's clerk treasurer's review tomorrow. There was like 6 items in the claims that I thought needed to be coming from somewhere else, and she's going to review those tomorrow, and she has to make the adjustments, she will, so I'll approve it based on her adjustments and so forth. They were claims that were...
I'll send that out. During the Board of Works, as I said, we have one gal that's on maternity leave, another that's been here for about 3 weeks who's filling in for maternity leave out, and so
Yeah, so it's just for you to know.
claims to Elmwood that should have come from a different line, so I'll let you know all of that once I get it looked at.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Okay, do we have a motion to pay the claims? Oh, we just did that one. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second? Second, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, thank you very much. Our next meeting will be Monday, June 12th. Thank you.